My wife died while cheating, so I skipped her funeral, left my abusive stepdaughter penniless. Hello, everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. My wife was cheating on me and ended up dying in the process. So I skipped her funeral, left my abusive stepdaughter broke, and took back everything I paid for. I'm James, 32, and I run an import-export business in Dallas. Built it up from scratch after 5 years of working my ass off on cargo ships. Now, I make 7 figures a year selling top-quality olive oil and wine from all over Greece. Not trying to brag, just laying out the facts. This all ties into the bizarre life I've got now. 6 years ago, I met Sarah at a wine expo in Athens. She was 35, a marketing director for a luxury hotel chain, and she was absolutely gorgeous. Those women who grab everyone's attention the moment they step into a room. She approached me at my booth, complimented my selection of local wines, and we ended up chatting for 3 hours straight. She was smart, funny, and genuinely seemed interested in my business philosophies. Red flag number 1 that I totally ignored like an idiot. Within the first hour, she mentioned her rough divorce and her plan to start fresh in Dallas. Her eyes were mesmerizing, and honestly, I was thinking with my dick. She had a 14-year-old daughter named Sophie. When she introduced us, Sophie barely looked up from her phone. Whatever, I thought, teenagers, right? We dated for 8 months. Sarah pushed subtly for me to commit, hinting about stability for Sophie and complaining about her ex not paying support reliably. She'd cook fancy dinners at my apartment, constantly bringing up how much better Sophie would do in a stable, 2-parent home. The sex was incredible. She knew exactly what she was doing, and I was completely hooked like a junkie. Whenever doubts crept in, she'd do this little thing with her tongue that made my brain turn off entirely. We married in Santorini, her idea, my money, euros 50, zero on a wedding with 200 of her friends and family. I had only 20 people there. Should have been a red flag right then. The sex stopped exactly 2 months after we got married, like a switch was flipped. Suddenly, she'd claim she was exhausted from work, had migraines, or was worried her daughter might overhear us. The daily intimacy vanished, and then it was maybe once a month, and even then like a favor. Meanwhile, Sophie turned into a nightmare the moment that ring was on her mom's finger. She'd barge into my office during calls, blasting music, spilling wine on my laptop, stealing money from my wallet, then crying to Sarah when caught, claiming I promised her the cash. Sarah's response was always the same. She's traumatized from the divorce. You need to be patient, you're the adult here. No, screw that, I knew I was being played, but I'd built this life, this image, successful businessman with a beautiful wife and a house in Calimaria. I convinced myself it'd get better. I paid for everything: Sophie's school, therapy twice a week, designer clothes, the latest iPhone, trips to Mykonos with her friends, all on my dime. 3 years ago, Sarah started working late. She said it was because her hotel clients from Dubai and Russia required entertainment. I wasn't stupid. I knew what entertainment meant in that industry. But she always came home, receipts in hand, colleagues vouched for her, so I let it slide. Then came the girls' trips once a month, always somewhere with beaches and clubs, Mykonos, Crete, Athens. She'd come back exhausted but refreshed, always with some new lingerie I never saw her wear. That's when I finally stopped playing the victim. Last month I did what I should have done years ago. I hired a private investigator. Best 5 grand I ever spent. His name is Alex. He's a 28-year-old ex-military guy, looks like a Greek statue after CrossFit, that kind of person. The pie came back with photos, hotels in Chalkatiki, a nearby resort, her meeting him in parking lots, late nights at his apartment downtown. A year they'd been screwing, I'd say, but the kicker: I hadn't confronted her yet, because I've been busy. While she was screwing Yannis, the trainer I was moving assets, chopping up liquidations, creating new companies, transferring money to accounts she doesn't know. Greek divorce laws are tricky. She could claim half of everything acquired during the marriage. But if assets are hidden, tied up, or non-existent, courts can't split what's not there. I've been documenting everything. Receipts. Dropped intimacy, all of it, kept it in spreadsheets. My lawyer in Thessaloniki, the best, says I've got enough on her to bury her in court. Tomorrow she's headed to our villa in Halkidiki with her girlfriends. Yanni's requested the time off from the gym. I know what they're gonna do, probably in bed right now, laughing about how I'm a pathetic cuckold. They're right, I was pathetic, but that ends today. I've already filed the divorce papers. She'll be served at the villa. The locks on my Calamaria apartment are changing while she's gone. Completely legal, everything in my name. Her credit cards, canceled at midnight. The BMW she drives, reported stolen, I own it, not her. Next semester's tuition for Sophie, not my problem anymore. The apartment near her university. Lease isn't renewed next month. I'm done being her wallet, her provider, her silent partner in this toxic marriage. Some will say I'm cruel for cutting her off, for not being the bigger person. Screw that. I've been the bigger person for 6 years, paying, pretending, tolerating. While they treated me like a walking ATM, I paid the price of disrespect in my own home. No more. It's been 3 hours since I posted this and she just texted me, said she's stuck in traffic, might be late, don't wait up. Yeah, I won't, I'm at my lawyer's office, cutting every last tie. Update, I just got a call, there's been an accident, I need to go. Second update, she's dead, I don't even know how to feel about this. 2 hours after my last post, the cops called single car wreck on the Thessaloniki highway. Katerina's BMW wrapped around a tree, she died instantly. But here, the fucked up part, she wasn't alone. I drove to the hospital in a daze, cycling through grief, relief, guilt, rage. She died before I could divorce her, before I could finally get free. When I got there, the police pulled me aside to prepare me. She wasn't alone in the vehicle, they said. A male passenger survived, minor injuries, cuts, bruises, maybe a concussion. Told me his name was Yannis. They led me to ICU, and there he was, this perfect Mediterranean Adonis, lying in bed, bandaged up, wearing a hospital gown. Nurses said he arrived shirtless, his clothes in a bag near the bed. He was high on painkillers, clearly panicked when I walked in, eyes wide. He started babbling, apologizing, calling me brother. Claiming it wasn't what I thought. Said she told him I wasn't satisfying her anymore, that I knew about their affair. I just stared at him, this pathetic kid, probably sticky with Katerina's juice still, trying to tell me I was the one cheating. I asked how long they'd been screwing. He whispered, 14 months. Longer than I figured, longer than I'd like to admit. Did he know if there were others? He looked away, silent. That was enough for me. I left without another word. It served no purpose. She was dead, and he was just another liar, another snake who'd used her while I paid her bills. The doctor caught me in the hall and asked if I wanted to identify the body. I didn't. I just wanted to see her. She looked tiny, fragile. Her face that usually dominated everything looked defeated. The woman who ruled my life for 6 years, who made me feel like shit for not being enough, was just a corpse on a metal table. According to the doctor, she died instantly, probably never felt a thing. The car was going 140 km/h, that's roughly 87 mph, hit the tree without braking, no skid marks. Signed the death paperwork, and they asked about her funeral. I told them I needed to think. As I was about to leave, Sophie showed up, 20, dressed for clubbing, fake eyelashes and all. She saw me and lost it, screaming at the top of her lungs. "This is your fault," she yelled. "You drove her to this. She was miserable with you." I let her go on, let her make a scene in the lobby. Security moved closer, but I waved them off. When she ran out of steam, she said what was predictable. "You need to handle the funeral. Mom would want something beautiful, and I'll need money for everything." That's when I snapped, the real rubber band breaking kind. Not in anger, but just finally letting go of all the stress. I told her no, she was her mother's ex-husband, past tense. And I was done with her, her memory, pretending this was a real family. I walked out, heading straight to my car. The one I bought, not the company Audi she wanted. She was still screaming as I drove off. It's been a day now and my phone won't stop ringing. Her family, who I paid to support for 6 years, her friends probably knowing about the affairs, Sophie leaving unhinged voicemails calling me a monster. The funeral home called. They need to schedule her cremation or exhumation. Gave them Sophie's number. My lawyer called too, asking if this changes anything in my divorce plans. I told him no, if anything, I've accelerated everything. Because here's what I finally saw sitting alone, drinking my imported wine. She died cheating, probably still with Yanni's. And now I'm supposed to mourn her. Play the grieving widower. Support her daughter's entitled nonsense. F that. Tomorrow I'll cancel every card, shut down all accounts, evict her from the apartment I paid for, stop paying her family's bills. Done. And I'm not sad at all. Is that fucked up? My wife of 6 years is dead and I feel lighter, like I finally dropped the weight of carrying her betrayal and lies. The Greek Orthodox Church says I should forgive, honor her memory, take care of Sophie. Fuck that. I don't owe them or her anything. Update. Sophie posted on Instagram picture of her and Katerina, some sob story about losing her best friend and soulmate. She linked her GoFundMe expecting €20, €0. In 2 hours she raised €500. Good luck. With the rest. A week since Katerina died in that car with her trainer Yanni's, that's been chaos I didn't see coming. First, let me clear something from my last update. Some of you said I was heartless for not comforting Sophie, that she's just a girl who lost her mom and I should be the bigger person. Let me tell you what she's been up to. The very next day, while I was handling police reports and hospital visits, Sophie broke into my apartment. Not with a key, I'd already changed the locks. She pretended to be distressed, convinced the building manager she needed photos of her mom and he let her in. Instead of photos, she took my Rolex collection, €80, zero worth, the jewelry I bought her, another €50, €0, and even grabbed my office jersey of Gianni's. Tried to steal my laptop but chickened out when a neighbor came to check on the noise. I have security cameras. She knew that but clearly forgot in her grief. I called the cops, filed a report, showed them the footage. They picked her up at her friend's place, wearing my Submariner, trying to sell my Omega to some shady dealer. She's out on bail now, paid for by Katerina's sister. More on that nightmare later. Now the funeral, her family, who I financially supported for 6 years, suddenly turned devout Greeks. Her mother, who hadn't been to church in ages, was crying about proper burial rites, insisting Katerina needed a beautiful send-off. The funeral director called me 8 times, each time with new demands. They wanted a €15, €0 mahogany casket, full Orthodox service with paid mourners, €5, €0, a €25, €0 plot, reception at a fancy hotel, totaling €55, €0 for someone who was cheating on me and doing drugs. I sent a single text. I'll pay for cremation. Simple, basic. And that was enough to make her family lose their minds. Katerina's sister, Alani, even showed up with a priest, an actual priest, to guilt me into paying. You're her husband before God, the priest thundered. She was fucking her trainer before God, too, I shot back. Where's his contribution? The priest left, I didn't. Alani threw every manipulation she had, tears, guilt trips, threats, everything. I told her to tell everyone I refused to pay over 50 grand to bury a cheater. She stormed out calling me a bastard. But that night, I got an alert from my accountant. Someone tried to access Katerina's life insurance. Turns out she canceled it 2 years ago, cashed out €30, €0, and never told me. Guess where that money went? I checked, €30, to an account I didn't recognize. It belonged to Yanni's. My dead wife had been sharing my money. More than that, the pie found 4 male lovers over 6 years, Nikos, her Pilates trainer, Petro from Dubai, Alexandros, her best friend's husband, and Yanni's. I dug through credit card receipts and hotel bills, Paris trips, gifts, all charged to my accounts under the guise of business expenses. The real shocker, a secret bank account with €200, €0 that she siphoned off our joint accounts over 6 years, small transfers, cash withdrawals, spa treatments that never happened, all under her name at Alpha Bank. She was planning to leave. Emails with a lawyer about divorce. Check. She planned to claim abuse, say I was controlling and demand half my business. The accident saved me from that shit show. 1 week later, the funeral's done, her family scraped together enough for a simple service. I skipped it, instead filing claims against her estate for theft and fraud. Sophie's facing theft charges. Her Instagram's full of posts about how I'm an abuser and her GoFundMe hit €3, €0. She needs €2, €0 for rent because I evicted her from the university apartment. Yannis was discharged, contacted me via Instagram, wants to clear the air and honor Katerina. I screenshotted his message, sent it to his boss. He's unemployed now. Her family keeps trying to sue me for emotional damages. My lawyer laughed for minutes when I told him. The €200, €0 account. Frozen, pending investigation since I can prove it was stolen from me. Her clothes, shoes, bags, donations to charity. I've already sold €20, €0 worth of designer bags. Our wedding photos. Burned them in my fireplace with a good glass of local wine. People ask if I feel guilty about any of this. Nope. The only thing I regret is not trusting my gut sooner, not protecting myself. I refuse to be the grieving, supportive widower for a woman who's dead and gone. Tomorrow I'll cancel all her cards, shut down her accounts, evict her from the apartment, and cut off her family's support. I'm not sad, actually I feel free. Like a huge weight been lifted. The Greek church says I should forgive her, honor her memory, and care for Sophie. For that I owe her nothing. Update. Sophie posted a pic of her and Katerina, some sob story about losing her best friend and soulmate, linking her GoFundMe expecting €20, €0. Raised €500 in 2 hours. Good luck with the rest. A week since she died, Chaos City. First, I want to clarify something. Some of you said I was heartless for not comforting Sophie, that she's just a girl mourning her mom, that I should be the bigger person. Here, what she's been up to. The very next day, while I was dealing with police reports, Sophie broke into my apartment again, even though I'd already changed the locks. Pretending to be distressed, she convinced the building manager to let her in, claiming she needed photos of her mother. She didn't take any photos. She grabbed my Rolex collection, €80,000, Katerina's jewelry, €50,000, and even snatched my office jersey of Gianni's. She tried to steal my laptop but freaked out when a neighbor came to check the noise. I have security cams. She knew that but forgot in her grief. I called the cops. They caught her at a friend, wearing my Submariner, trying to sell my Omega. She's out on bail now, paid for by Katerina's sister. More on that later. As for her funeral, her family, whom I supported for years, suddenly started mourning, demanding a grand event. Her mom, who hadn't been to church in ages, was crying about proper rites, insisting on a €15,000 mahogany coffin, €5,000 for paid mourners, a €25,000 plot, and a €10,000 reception. Total, €55, €0. She was cheating and doing drugs, and they wanted a royal send-off. I shot them a text. I'll pay for cremation, bare minimum, and that shut them up. Katerina's sister, Alani, even showed up with a priest, an actual priest, trying to shame me into paying more. You're her husband before God, he shouted. She was fucking her trainer before God, I shot back. Where's his cut? The priest left. Alani tried guilt, tears, threats. I told her to tell everyone I wouldn't shell out over 50 grand for a cheater's grave. She called me a bastard and stormed out. That night I got an alert from my accountant. Someone tried to access Katerina's life insurance. Though she canceled it 2 years ago, took €30, €0, and never told me. Now it's gone. I tracked the money, €30, €0 transferred to an account I didn't recognize belonged to Yannis. She'd been sharing that money too. More receipts from the pie. 4 men over 6 years, Yannis, Nikos, Petro, Alexandros. Paris trips, gifts, secret accounts, €200, €0 siphoned, small transfers, cash withdrawals, spa trips that never happened, all in her name. She planned to leave, probably with half my assets. Thank God the accident got in the way. 1 week later, I skipped her funeral and filed legal claims against her estate. Sophie's facing theft charges. Her Instagram's full of accusations about me, her GoFundMe's a joke, and the lawyer's threatening suit for €100, €0. The problem? She can't pay. She got her lawyer on contingency, and when he found out she had no money, he dropped her. Now her lawyer's suing her instead. She's living with some guy in Hokkaido, working for a tourist shop, trading youth for rent, just like her mom wanted. And the best part, that villa in Halkidiki where she died. I sold it €2. 4 million cash to a Russian oligarch. The day I signed, he made a joke about how, when she dies during whoring, it's God's justice. She had her first wife wait 20 years for that, and I paid a fortune. Now it's gone, turning into my expansion capital, and I finally feel free. Maria's celebrating with me tonight. She owns 3 wine bars, we're partners, and she contributes, not just takes. Last month we went back to Santorini, to the same hotel where I married Katerina, exorcising that demon. And here's the best bit. A week ago, Yannis tried to contact me through a friend, asking for money, euros 50, to fix his broken spine. I showed him a photo of Maria and me on a yacht, drinking champagne, and told him this is my life now. No betrayal, no parasites draining my wallet. He started crying, said he'd pay me back with interest, sign anything. I told him he was a bad investment, left him crying into his coffee. But then 3 days ago, Sophie reappeared, not in person but through a lawyer, suing me for damages, claiming I pushed her out, that I'm emotionally unfit, and claiming I owe support. Her lawyer's demanding 100 euros, €0. I laughed so hard Maria thought I lost it. I sent her the proof, her criminal record, her theft confession, her expulsion, and within a day the case got dropped. Her lawyer just dumped her. She couldn't even pay the 5 euros, €0 contingency fee. Now, she's living with some divorced tourist in Hokkaido, working a local shop, trying to trade her youth for rent. Sounds familiar. And the cherry? I sold that villa euros 4M in cash yesterday to a Russian who called my ex-wife's death God's justice. Made bank, freed myself completely. Maria and I celebrated, and I realized I'm better than I've ever been. Business booming, in shape thanks to boxing, free from parasites and lies. The whole toxic past is gone, and I couldn't be happier living my own honest life. So to anyone out there feeling trapped, used, betrayed, hear me. You don't owe them a damn thing. Cut ties, build something better. The best revenge. Living well with someone who adds, not takes. Cheers to that. I'm out.